Russia is threatening nuclear war on NATO. And this time, it's not Medvedev, the old lapdog, the bad dog, barking for Putin. This is the stately statesman Sergei Lavrov. He is the one this time who is threatening nuclear war, an implicit threat, I might add, on NATO. To it, and that includes the United States right now, although we are pulling back somewhat from NATO at this point in time. We are reducing forces there and commitments to NATO, saying that we're not going to be as involved in them as we have been in the past. So what does this really mean? What is it going to entail for Europe, the United States? And the reason for this, why are they making this threat? Well, if you look at Moscow today, it looks like an inferno because Putin had rained down a lot of missiles on Ukraine, on Kyiv, and Ukraine hit back hard. They have hit major oil refineries so bad in Moscow, there's smoke everywhere, right near Moscow, and it is actually raining petroleum in Moscow. Now, this has got to not set too well with the populace. I've been to Moscow. It's got to not set too well with the populace, which puts Putin in peril with his own people probably at this point in time. So what's going to come out of all this, and how is it going to play out? Will Putin get serious and actually cross the nuclear Rubicon in this case? Well, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm not saying it's certain, but the threats are getting higher, and Putin's regime is at stake. And I've always told you guys, they don't really have these weapons to defend their populace. It's to defend their own power. I mean, that's what it really boils down to. It's defend the party, the power, the regime in power. I mentioned this many times way back in the past, so that should not be a big surprise. Now, like I said, I've not been trying to take any sides in this thing. I'm just bringing you the gravity of what may go down. The attacks on Russia have been extremely severe in terms of hitting their oil terminals. And you got to remind, it's not just the environmental impact. It's not just, and it is to a large degree there in Moscow, the visual part of, because when the residents of Moscow are looking up in the sky and it's black and it's raining oil and there's things blowing up and burning around them, yeah, that does not look good to them. But it's also the economic lifeline of Russia, and Russia's economic lifeline has gotten mighty thin lately. So how is all this going to pan out? I only got 23 in the room. Wow. So how is all this going to pan out for Russia? Will Russia, is the bear against the wall? Has the bear been poked too many times? I'd like to know what you think about it. Let me know in the chat room. Personally, I think the United States needs to get the heck out of NATO, and the sooner the better, and this is part of why. Because Europe and the previous administration had really poked the bear pretty hard. And quite frankly, in my humble opinion, whatever you think about Ukraine, Russia, all aside, you got to realize what we're really fighting over is an area that's maybe what, 5/8 or some fraction of the size of West Virginia. Really and truly, Ukraine's much bigger, but the part of Ukraine are fighting over principally the Donbas region, which is predominantly a Russian-speaking area, although not predominantly Russian ethnic. They are a predominant Russian-speaking area, and they did allegedly vote like 98% to go with Russia. Now, whether that election is valid or not is neither here nor there. Whatever the case is, it's the case that is it worth the United States turning our home country into a crispy critter over? That's what I'm really putting out there. Is it really worth it to us to stand up for that region, which apparently, at least to some degree, wants to be part of Russia, to fight to keep that inside of Ukraine and risk our own terra firma, our own homeland, the whole world into a nuclear war? Some people don't think it would ever go to that level, but you're playing, even if it's, like a 0.1667% probability, or 16 point, yeah, I'm talking percentage now, not numbers. 16.67 possible. That's 1 in 6. That's playing Russian roulette with the Russians. And I don't think that's a wise move to do. I really doubt that is a way to go. So I see a comment: the Russian cities have public bomb shelters. Amen. I have been in the Russian subway systems that was established back in the old Soviet Union days for nuclear war survival. They've actually practiced putting like 40 million people into these bunkers. The subways are like 400 feet deep, the deepest subway you'll ever travel on anywhere. And they have big nuclear blast doors that can close into the subways. And what you ride on the subway, that's just the potent part. Apparently, they have chambers off to the side, basically a big underground city, to put their people in big bunkers in case of a nuclear war. And Russia and China both have their grids hardened for EMP attack. And in fact, China stole the concept, the technology from a company called EMP Primus, and they have manufactured it like crazy, put it on all their transformers over there, and American companies aren't even using it. And it's American design. It's like, you got to be kidding me. American companies have already spent enough money fighting getting their grid hardened by paying for the big lawyers on K Street in Washington, D.C. They would have costed them the job in the first place. And the money they paid them for come out of your ratepayer. When you pay your utilities, that's where that goes. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me how this stuff pans out. So all that aside, and who else tells you that here on YouTube? Who else brings you this kind of data? Nobody. But somebody don't know yap about it will get 100, 10,000, 40,000 views. And I'm getting 42 people watching right now. Anyway, yeah, let's get on with the story here. So this whole thing in Russia is tense right now. We don't know how far Russia might go. We do know that we're pulling forces, like I said, out of Europe right now. We're reducing our troop profile there. We're taking aircraft out. We're taking naval ships away. And we are refocusing on China. We said a long time that China is our biggest threat, and they still are. And we're going to talk about that tonight too, because Kristi Noem talked about a 1,000-year plan for China to wipe us out. But it's not a 1,000-year plan. It's like they're trying to wipe out the next generation, essentially, and maybe even before that, because I've talked about their plans, and we do know they got biolabs in this country. We found, 3 so far, all connected to the same people. But here's the funny thing. The funny thing is, 2. The funny thing is, well, it's not funny at all. Their previous defense minister is alleged to put out a speech, which someone supposedly got the text to, the script to, in which he called for biowarfare on the United States to wipe us out completely. And this is before the before they had the genetic engineering they have today. And we do know, and I made a video on this, and I've talked about the threat of this and the kind of bugs they're creating today, which are just off the charts, way beyond the flu that came from their, now I got really coughing, the research facilities over in Hanwoo. I said it backwards, Hanwoo. You know what I'm talking about. Which was in part, unfortunately, funded by the head of the NIH, whose name rhymes with Ouchie, which is a title more fitting to him than his actual name, Mr. Ratface, if you know who I'm talking about. So, yes, Battlefield Ghost, we are woefully unprepared. That's why I bring you guys this news, to get you prepared. I have a home concept. Hey, we got Rodney Middleton in the house. Good to see him down under. I have KP Heathen. Yeah, let's get out of NATO. Unfortunately, we're not really withdrawing. I'm going to show you some articles on this. We are claiming we're going to not give them the support we would have earlier. We're leaving it more in the hands of Europe, but we need to get the heck out. It's Europe doesn't have that much to offer the United States anymore. Europe has collectively a GDP bigger than ours. Why? And we got more people than us. So why are we risking ourselves, our treasury, our sons, our daughters, and our homeland right here for Europe? Let Europe take care of Europe. That's my point. Whatever Europe's contention, if they want to fight for Ukraine or whatever they want to do, fine. Lavrov said that Europe was and NATO was using Ukraine as a fist against them. That's how they view it. And what I've talked about in the past was how Russia views this whole thing is that they see Moscow's on a wide open flat plain that's been invaded from the west many times. And, you know, troops can roll in there really fast. So they've always, since Catherine the Great and Peter the Great, wanted to have their borders out to the Caucasus Mountains where they could just patrol the smaller gaps north and south of there and not have to worry about that whole big broad plain, having access to them, being able to marshal troops in. They got the same thing with the Caucasus Mountains to the south and other places. That's why they've always tried to have this big empire. But the Ukraine war is breaking their bank so much, their empire is kind of cracking apart. Kadyrov, who's the head of the Chechens, who is in Putin's pocket, is extremely ill. And he managed, look, Russia's had several wars with Chechnya. Chechnya's got a lot of separatists and separatist movements, and Putin himself has had war against Chechnya, and he got Kadyrov installed to be over Chechnya, and he's been pro-Putin, although he's still an Islamist. He does support Putin, but what he was able to do is use that deal in Russia to put his clan over the rest of them. But now that he is terminally ill and doesn't have a successor from his clan, from his family that's ready to take over, there's a good chance that you'll see another rebellion in Chechnya. And this time, Russia may not be able to deal with it. Russia's also been threatening to invade Armenia. But will that happen? You got to remember what Armenia is like one of the oldest Christian nations in the world. So a lot of stuff, all about money and power and influence. Yeah, that. And it's also a lot about old ideas of what it takes to secure a country. And Russia's had this notion that their population is dwindling and this is their last best chance to get out there and secure that outer territory, but it ain't working. It's not going to work. So now they've overcommitted. They bit off more than they can chew. They thought they went on a 3-hour tour into Ukraine and discovered themselves in Gilligan's Island, except it's a war. A 3-day special operation went over 3 years, and it's really breaking the bank in Russia. So, and again, I'm not trying to take any sides here. I'm just telling you guys that the geopolitical reality of it is a hard place for Russia right now. And they're feeling like their backup is up against the wall. The survival of the regime may be up against the wall. And that's where they get dangerous. When you corner a bear, it gets dangerous. And they do have nuclear weapons. How you doing, Rodney? And thanks for the thumbs up call there. So what's going on, says Mark? Well, you missed my opening here. Yeah, we're against the WF, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. We don't need no part of that. But that's the European piece, you know. That's why another reason we don't need to be propping Europe up. They're the ones that come up with this WEF, the House of Klaus, and neo-feudalistic ideas where they want to have you living in a 15-minute city riding your tricycle and eating some bugs while you own no property. Yeah. And you have no privacy, but they tell you you're going to be happy. Yeah, right. While the elites fly around in their personal jets and dine on caviar and steak. Yeah, that's what's going on. It's what we don't need. So we have threats, particularly in Russia. If we stay in NATO, if we pulled out of NATO, we're not part of that game anymore. Well, we got to worry more about China in the long run. We've got to worry about an insurgent, resurgent Tehran if we don't take the regime out. Iran, the mullah regime. Like I said in the previous video, they don't really represent the people. 80% of the people there don't want them. And what they are is an Islamic revolution based on the Twelver faith of the Shia faith. And it is a faith in which they believe they're commanded by Allah to export their revolution, that they're absolutely commanded it. And it's in their constitution. And so when you're really looking at it and going down a rabbit hole, what you see is that Hezbollah really is part of the IRGC. And so it's not a thing of the people there. So it starts to make sense when you start adding it all up that way. So these are all things to pay a lot of attention to. We do have threatening situations. It don't mean that all these things are going to happen. I'm not, like some other channels. World War III tomorrow morning, every day for years on end. Although it could happen. It could happen. I don't think it will be tomorrow morning, though. But the prospects, like I said, if it's like Russian roulette where you got one round in a chamber, that's too high. It's way too high for something that could wipe us out. Even a fraction of that is too high. One thing I do is risk analysis. I do hazard analysis. We rank likelihood against the severity. And the severity of turning the United States into a crispy critter is beyond catastrophic. So even a very low likelihood of that is not really acceptable. But some people want to shrug it off because they're warmongers. And a lot of people were in the Biden administration, people who supported that were really pushing for that hard. I don't endorse that. Not at all. So if you're just joining, somebody was asking what's going on. Lavrov, who is the statesman of Russia, not Medvedev, who's always, we're going to nick you, we're going to nick you, we're going to nick you. Medvedev was a former president of Russia, but he's playing the bad dog or Russia's quieter good dog persona, so that he could play up Medvedev making threats. But now it's not Medvedev, it's Lavrov, and there's also another media character in Russia starting to make these allegations. So we're going to look at this. We're going to go through it here in a minute and see what it is. Shoot, I didn't bring my eggs over here for the egg guest later. I just realized that. So many things to set up to do a video. In any event, so my friends, what we're going to do is we're going to go through some articles. We're going to talk about this thing with Russia. We're going to talk about China. We're going to talk about this, all this mess going on with Iran. What is really coming out of it? Where is it really going? It's like paying 52 card pickup or something. It's a mess. There's no ifs and ands about it. It's a mess. So we're modern serfdom in European past history. Yeah, they're used to having elites and serfs. They want to go back to that if they can. They want to bring us all under that thumb. That's why their little video from years ago, was really so, the United States is not going to be a world leader anymore. It's just going to be one of many nations. That's part of their big dreams, to take us down. Why? Because true red-blooded Americans don't want to stand for that stuff. So they don't want us to have an upper hand. It's one reason our borders were thrown wide open, was to change the demographic of who we are as a country, so that we would have a whole lot more people that didn't have allegiance to the dream of our founding fathers. And now that we're on the verge of our 250th anniversary, this is the time to remember it more than ever. And I'm going to have to put up my flag that Brian Corinne bought me soon. I got a flag that I'm going to drape it up here before the 4th of July. So, need to go. The market's 4. Oh, we got somebody in the Philippines. How you doing? 4 p.m. in the Philippines. Surprise market's low. All right, good. We got somebody in the Philippines. Lacklandbird, good to see you. I used to get a lot of views from the Philippines back when I did more farming type content. I had a good number of views from the Philippines then. And I may return to that. I'm really trying to decide where to take this channel in the future. Anyway, so I am not going to see the chat room there. I'm going to open it up over here in this other little laptop. My laptop I cracked the screen in is in the shop. I got the bigger laptop, the one that used to overheat all the time back in. So far, it's not overheating. I got the speakers fixed. It only took 3 repair jobs to get it working right. The 2 with the company I got it from, neither one of those was worth a dog. Uh, we'll talk about that more here in the end. Hang on, let me see if I can get this up here where I can watch the chat room over my shoulder here. And that way, if I get a super chat or something, I can acknowledge it. I'm not going to be able to read directly from it. But if I see a big color banner for a super chat rolled across, I'll definitely see that and take note. And what I will do is 5:37 p.m. in Australia. Well, it is 12:38 a.m. on the 20th of June here. So Juneteenth is now over. I went to the post office today and the bank and found them both closed. I forgot about this new holiday we have here. Anyway, so let's do that. Let me get into this share screen mode. I got to pull it up to the right place first. Ding, ding, ding. So give me a second. Bear with me. Oh, not that button. Everything's different when I switch to a different computer. Bear with me a second. So first, a word from my sponsor, me. Remember me telling you about those 15-minute cities where you'll live in rack and stack ISO containers, rack and stack by the railroad track? You know what that's for. Or they'll have you riding little tricycles and eating the bugs, owning no property, everything. You're going to have to rent everything from Larry Fink, apparently, because that's what he's trying to do is buy up all the real estate. So Larry Fink makes me think Rat Fink. Fink may be a good name for him, Larry Fink. You know, he took over the house of Klaus. He's also the runner of BlackRock. And what you're going to find if you go to the WEF website, look up their partner program, you'll discover their whole program is paid for by big corporations. And when you buy products from any of these corporations or any of these products, you're inadvertently supporting them, not only through the corporations themselves, but you'll find that I'll show you in a minute, the 3 big asset management companies own controlling interests in these corporations. And the top one of those is none other than BlackRock, owned by Larry Fink. But the bigger story, the more personal at-home story, is that we got over 550 different consumer brands that are now controlled by just 12 companies, and they're loaded up with toxins, chemicals, and heavy metals. I've covered this in other videos. I need to get back into covering that stuff again soon. A lot of these brands were brands that everybody thought was trustworthy, maybe at one time before they got bought out, or some of the more later corporate decisions were made to make the products cheaper and last longer on the shelf, to make them more addictive. Before that happened, some of these products were better than they are today. But now they've been bought out and are run by these big corporate conglomerates. No. I've even mentioned a video on toothpaste, how over 90% of the brands have heavy metals in them, beyond acceptable concentrations, way beyond. And some of these are sold as healthy. Some of them are sold as for your kids. They don't care, guys. That's what I've been telling you guys. This is what we're trying to switch away from this mess. You know, BlackRock, these 3 big asset management companies, control most of them. I always want me to prove I'm not a robot. That's funny. I'm going to skip over. So that's why I tell you guys to come to switchwithgreg.com. This is my website. That's what I'm saying. I'm the sponsor. This is my website. You come to here and you'll discover we got a family-owned company, not a corporate conglomerate, family-owned company right here in America that makes products in America, supporting American jobs, and their products don't have all those additives and all that mess in them. They're natural products, and they test them extensively for consumer safety. So you can switch away from the contaminants. You can switch away from supporting the House of Klaus by going to switchwithgreg.com and filling this in. And I've got a lady who's a member of the community, Lisa. She'll contact you and try to get you on board. She's helping me out just because I can't do it. Oh, I've got too many things here, guys. I think I could put my sound back on since I just muted my video. And we'll see if we can get all the sound out of this stuff. They had an intercept there. That's Russia today. That's Moscow today, guys. It's a war zone right over Moscow. It's like Tehran when the Israelis hit it. That's just one of many. One of many. Look at this. Apartment buildings. People live around there. There's apartments built. This is from some people's apartments. That's apartment.
Горит, Андрей. Весь завод разъярили, весь, блядь. Только ракеты, блядь, там долбит, блядь, еще где-то на подлете.
So I guess
Выебывались, как говорится, блядь.
Guess we effed around and found out, he said. That looks like somebody. Blurry camera. Running. Not a great video. No sound on this one. Whoa, they got a drone there. But it crashed and blows up a factory. This is a real good video here. Look, it's showing several different views. So I can get it bigger. That's what the Russians are mad about right now. I mean, this is in Moscow, capital city. That's another one. Drone being taken out there. Maybe it's the same one. I don't think so. So they are intercepting drones, but apparently a lot of them are getting through because there's a lot of oil refineries on fire. So there's a video that one of the tanks getting blown off of one of the storage tanks. The lid of it just goes way up in the sky. One of those tanks right there like that. It's crazy. Oh, look, that's apartments. It's apartments on fire. So go back and see that right there. That's apartments. After the second spin, yeah. Sirens in the background. Wow. Pretty intense over there. That's got to be shocking to the people there in Russia. Like I said, they're having petroleum right. But that's music. I can't play music. Dark skies. So they got semi trucks in Moscow now. When I was over, I didn't see a single semi truck. Just on and on and on. He's wiping oil off of the top step. Wiping oil off the cooler, off the cars. Yuck. I guess that's a cooler. It's a pretty big drone. One.
Allah göstermesin, Allah göstermesin. Baba, ay Allah, ay Allah. Ay Allah.
Like he said, oh, look. They intercepted that one. They've intercepted a good number of them, but not enough. And that's one of the problems. They claim that Russia's out of interceptors. The United States did. That's the problem with drone warfare. Drones are cheap. Interceptors are expensive. So when you're plotting drones against interceptors, the drones win unless you get some other technology to take them out. So that's probably an office building. It's not apartments there. Wow. So it's struck by multiple Ukrainian attack drones. Multiple. There's a mushroom cloud going up from the big explosion. Not nuclear. That showed apartments on fire on this one. Maybe the same video we saw earlier. Oh, here we are. We got to see this. This is what I was looking for. Oh, that's not a video. That is the top. That's the lid of one of the big storage tanks. It's been blown straight up, intact. And it falls back down. It's like a big UFO, like a flying saucer. There's your flying saucer right there, but except that's an identified flying object. I'd like to find a video of that because I've seen it in video too. All of Moscow is burning from that video. Yeah, a lot of this is the same stuff over and over. That one looks different. Well, that's going to have a major, both economic and psychological impact. Well, there it is going up. There's that tank lid. I'm seeing from a different side. You watch it. All right, here we go. There's that tank lid going up. Watch that. There it is falling over to the side. Wow. Holy smoke. That is crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Never would have thought one would blow up in that fashion. All right. That is what's got the Russians, especially Putin's power base, mad. Well, Ukraine's largest drone strike on Moscow since 2022. More stuff about it. And what Vladimir Zelensky said, he says, if Ukraine burns, Moscow burns too. Put that on a Twitter. And well, I guess so. They're both burning. It's a nasty war. Here's where Red Square is. I've been there. And here's the big oil refinery hit over here, southeast of Moscow, but pretty close. So yeah, that looks like a different view. Oh, looks like an apartment building. It is. That's an apartment building there. Hang on. Car alarm's going off. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in the street down there. All that stuff falling. Anyway, nasty, nasty, nasty stuff. Yeah, I've seen these little golden dome churches there in Russia. The Soviets tore them all down. They all got rebuilt like in months after the Soviet Union fell. There's a lot of people who are faithful, except that one. That one was allowed to stand because that one was a celebration of Russia's victory over Islam when they were being invaded and survived. So they left that one, but they tore all the rest of them down. That one is in Red Square, by the way. Maybe that's another reason they left it. All right, you're betting everything on direct clash with Russia. That's what Lavrov says, and has released some kind of terrifying nuclear plan, according to the Hindustan Times, excuse me. Although they don't go into great detail here. So what I did is I pulled up the letter. Well, hang on, I ain't got that yet. This is another ally of Putin, a pro-Kremlin TV host, warning that the entire world is preparing for war with Russia. And he's issuing a nuclear war warning. This is Sergei, his name is Sergei Kamalakov, however you say that. He is he's basically a commentator. But you got to remember, over there in the news isn't like news here. If you're speaking on the news, what you're saying has been approved by the government. Hey, we got a super chat. Thank you there, men. How much is that? Mendalic. Thank you very much. Sorry, I got so wrapped up in the other stuff. I wasn't watching my chat room here as well. So thank you, Mendalic, for the super chat. Appreciate that very, very much. Because I think the video before last, I didn't have any super chat or donation and earned like $4. For all the time I put in $4, it's like, really? Wow. But my views are way down here. Battlefield, I remember that back to the 70s. How you doing, Kathy? Like our Navy. Okay, I'll read the chat in a little bit, guys. Anyway, here's what Lavrov actually wrote. Now, this is in his official Russian website. It's a letter. So he wasn't quite as pointy here because he does try to be the statesman and try to talk about, negotiations and things like that. But he said here, this is what Lavrov himself wrote. The state of affairs poses serious threats to global security. A direct confrontation between NATO and Russia could rapidly escalate into an exchange of nuclear strikes with catastrophic consequences. Under the banner of strategic autonomy, Europe is witnessing a significant buildup of its military capabilities, including in the nuclear sphere. Paris's intention to extend its nuclear umbrella to several EU and NATO member states is a source of deep concern. To make up for the United States nuclear umbrella, France is one that extended its own. Let me go and read here. This will do nothing to strengthen the security of France itself or the recipients of its so-called protection. He says it because Russia's got, they got hundreds of nukes in Europe. Russia's got thousands, more than anybody. He said, for all that, Europe Europe's political and military establishment continues to attribute aggressive plans to Russia, plans that they claim reach far beyond Ukraine. So that's interesting. He's basically saying that Europe claims they want to take more than just Ukraine. I don't know where that comes from, but that's quite an allegation. The Russian president has stated on numerous occasions that all of this is nonsense, provocation, and disinformation, all aimed solely at extracting budget funds for their fight against Russia. He said that is scarcely the climate for substantial dialogue. And now this is under that he understates things because he's a statesman, supposedly. So he goes on here talking about Putin's take on this current situation. So what prompted European leaders to suddenly shift their rhetoric and start talking on negotiations while they're aiming with these statements? So yeah, he don't trust them. He said, hey, it's all a lie, basically. But this is on the website of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation. This is their official news. And this was written by him personally. Kind of favors Herman the Monkster, right? Herman Munster. I don't know. But U.S. is reducing forces committed to NATO, tells allies to step up air and naval power. We're drawing airplanes out. We're drawing ships out. We're pulling troops out, moving some around. I think we need to take them all out. Let Europe take care of Europe. That's what I've been saying for a long time here. The U.S. is reducing the number of forces it is prepared to commit to NATO in a crisis. Let me repeat that. The U.S. is reducing the number of forces it is prepared to commit to NATO in a crisis. The U.S. European Command said on the 3rd of June an announcement that has stirred debate home and abroad. So, and Air Force General Alexis G. Grinkiewicz, however you say that, he says, there has been an unhealthy codependence in NATO force model on U.S. forces. Well, amen to that. Amen to that. How about way too much dependence? We need to get out, not just reduce. We need to get the heck out, in my humble opinion. So, Chewy Weather, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. It's been a while. So let's go back to Kristi Noem here. She is warning of a coordinated effort to funnel Chinese nationals into the United States. It's just what she said in there. She's talked to various leaders throughout Latin America, and they just told her the plans that was set up to funnel people from China through those countries into the United States. And she said they set it up to run like a travel agency. They're bringing in tens of thousands. And since 2023 alone, there was more than 22,000 encounters where our Customs and Border Patrol actually encountered the individuals. Now, how many went through unencountered? That's the ones you got to worry about. You know, they send in the least dangerous ones, the lower priority ones, through where they keep our guys busy, and the ones that are higher priority, they're going to sneak over the wilderness areas, the deserts, and the harder to watch areas. So that's how they play this game, guys. Not to say they're not all dangerous. We're talking, young men, 18 to 25 kind of, they all, and then here, she said they gave them, look here, they would show up, be handed certain documents, to file for asylum, a backpack, and get on a bus and head straight over to our southern border. Didn't we see these guys standing in military parade dress, all equipped, wearing camouflage, same kind of clothes, all with the backpacks? We've seen this. We have seen this. But she said, mostly young men, some females. We have females in the military too, but a very much coordinated attempt to get individuals in our country to change our country. So, U.S. intelligence and DEA have also reportedly said that the vast majority of illicit fentanyl precursor chemicals originate in chemistry factories inside China. Now, there's nothing here that we didn't already know. That's the funny thing. They're just finally coming out and officially admitting it. But we knew this stuff. If you didn't know this stuff, you had your head in a hole somewhere, or you were playing ostrich with your head in the sand. I've been covering this for years. Yeah. They have facilitated it. No one said, I wouldn't say necessarily we found ties to it officially, right to the government, but absolutely. Well, we do know one of the big Chinese banks is actually laundering the money for the drug cartels. That's a fact. So, and all these companies in China belong to the government. Sometimes they try to make it look like they got, whoa, what happened to my screen? What happened to my screen? Where are we at? Here we are. I'm just scrolling through it, and then I went poof. I don't know if y'all lost it, but it disappeared on my screen as I was trying to scroll through it. Anyway, let's go on to some other stuff here. Now, Iran Supreme Leader supposedly authorized direct talks to the United States, supposedly authorizing the deal. Of course, we don't know if this guy's even alive. It may be like Weekend at Bernie's over there. We don't know what the status of this guy's. Nobody's seen him or heard directly from him. All we get is these reports. He's announced this, he's announced that. It could be some IRGC member, or it could be like the staff of Joe Biden, with auto pens and props, Weekend at Bernie's, Weekend at Biden's, Weekend at Mushtaba Khomeini. Same bat channel, same bat time. All right. So then we had this report that fighting in Lebanon had forced Iran to walk away from the deal. Then we're hearing that Israel and Hezbollah agreed to a ceasefire on Friday, starting Friday. That hold, then you don't want it to hold. Israel and Hezbollah agreed on a ceasefire, according to U.S. official. And again, this is dated 19 June, but it was this morning, 7:55. We'll see if it holds tomorrow. I am highly skeptical about it. Democrats will be back in charge again. Our country will fall for good this time. That's what I am most worried about. A lot of my followers on here told me that voted for Republicans in the last election. They're not voting this time. I mean, a very high number, like a lot more than you would think. And I was shocked by that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Just remind me to talk about that. That is something that worries me, really worries me. Because you're going to see borders thrown wide open. You're going to see the Chinese coming in. You're going to see drag queen shows for little kids again and all kind of mess. The fentanyl crisis will go up. Oh, yeah, gas was high under Biden, too. If they ever got to pull off their new Green Deal, forget about it. Look at what's happening in China, almost, in California. They lost their refineries because Gavin Newsom just pushed too hard. Refineries shut down. Gas prices are about to go insane in California. Unfortunately, Arizona gets a lot of their fuel from California, so it's going to hurt us here too. All because of Gavin Gruesome Newsom. Guys, it's scary what could come at us. So you got to remember, Joe Biden was trying to outlaw propane stoves, propane heat. You can't live out here in a desert without this stuff. If you're really on solar, the batteries can't handle all that kind of load that we use with base load power. I really watch what I do after the sun goes down in terms of power consumption. And most people here either clothes dryers or gas. They heat their houses with gas. They cook with gas because the batteries are very expensive. And it's easy to suck them down. The most expensive part of my solar is the batteries. And yes, I got a propane heater. Yes, I got a propane stove. I do microwave stuff though a lot. All right, all that said, in fact, that's the main thing I do because I don't have time to do regular cooking. So Donald Trump said that Iran is finished. It's diminished. And then he's claiming they'll receive no U.S. money. I said Vance said that last time we did a video. They're claiming that the money is going to come from investors who want to invest in Iran. I don't know who wants to invest in a bombed out country like that, especially when it might get bombed out again. Doesn't sound like a good thing to be putting your money into. Although if it lasts and sticks and they got ownership in oil refineries or something, they might make money, but Iran will probably nationalize them. I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to put a bunch of money in there. Now, maybe some of the Gulf Coast states will. I don't know. Do y'all see private money being invested in Iran? If you do, put a 1 in the chat room. If you don't, put a 2. I'd like to know what you think about it. I am highly skeptical of that. The war diminished Iran, Trump says it doesn't any longer have an air force, a navy, anti-aircraft equipment, radar, or practically anything else. He says, and that's true for the moment. But if we help them, even if it's not us putting the money in, if we help them gain $300 billion, they can rebuild a lot of stuff. That's where I think we're messing up. I don't think we need to be helping them get, even if it's not our money. I don't think we should be helping them do this. And then they're talking about releasing. We got over $100 billion, maybe 120 some odd billion dollars in Iranian funds that have been sequestered and locked into banks. And they're talking about releasing that too. So you're talking, almost $500 billion. That you can build a moon base for that, for Pete's sake. So yeah, I think Iran could do a lot with it. And that's something I find very disturbing given what I know about the regime and what they want to do. What is the religion that underpins it? What's in their constitution? That worries me. What we need to do done is foster regime change over there by arming the protesters and then give them air support and then get the heck out. That's what we ought to do. So he's been posing like we didn't meet out of desperation. Iran did. They're finished. So he's going off here because he's got a lot of people chopping at him, a lot of people accusing him, and some of them may be rightly, and some of them I worry about. We'll go over that in a minute. So there's been a survey. It says 39% of the respondents favor negotiated settlement where Iran's current government remains in place. But 36% favor replacing Iran's current government with one more favorable to the U.S. Let's see what you guys think about that. If you are for the negotiations with the current government, put a 3 in the chat room. If you are for us helping facilitate, it could just be getting them arms. It's not like we got to go in ourselves. If you would be in favor of facilitating or waiting until there's a more favorable government over there, put a 4 in the chat room. It says another 16% favor a weakened regime where the current government stays in place, but is significantly diminished military and economically. Well, don't give them any stinking money. You can get there. And 8% responded, well, yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll tell you, it's kind of hard to know everything going on over there. It really is. Trump is cleaning up, and it's not that easy. Democrat stuff to mess. Well, there's that. Hey, Greg, you may not have many viewers this time at night, but we're in a very unique group. We are here in the middle of the night. Yeah. Well, even I was getting a lot more viewers several months ago in this same time slot, a lot more. And usually the later I go, the more people come in because it starts getting to be morning in the east side of the country. And a lot of people get up and watch for their coffee. We got some early birds over there on the East Coast. And of course, people in Europe. And I'm not anti-European. Don't get that idea. I'm just saying Europe ought to be able to take care of their own. So that's my main point on that. I'm not at all anti-European. I got a European ancestry. I hope Europe can shrug off the WEF that's trying to take them over. That's what I hope. But then again, they want to take over the whole world. But you got the European Union over there, so they're already deeper into it than we are. Well, most Europeans don't want the European Union. Kind of like most Iranians don't want the Mullah regime running them. But these power-hungry people don't care. They don't care. You know, I'm not hating anybody. I'm just telling you guys the geopolitical dimensions of what we're facing with the Mullah regime, with the Chinese Communist Party. I think most people in China would want to get that off their neck too. So there's these parties and groups that are controlling things. It's got nothing to do with race. I like Chinese. You know, Taiwan is Chinese ethnically. And I've had a lot of Chinese friends. I've even dated 3 Chinese women. So I got nothing against Chinese as a people. They're an admirable people. They're smart, handsome, some pretty ladies from over there. But, you know, smart people. I got nothing against the people. But it's the regime who has designs on wiping out our country. Well, I might be somewhat less than entirely appreciative of somebody having designs to wipe me out. Can you understand that? Does that make sense? Anyway, so just kind of putting that out there, guys. Kind of putting that out there. Trump administration unveils sweeping terms of proposed Iran agreement. We talked about that in the previous video. I don't know. I think the prospects of it holding are really slim. There's a lot of flack from the United States from the Republican Party and a lot of flack from the Democrat Party. U.S. senators criticize the letter of intent with Iran. And we're talking about some that, you know, a lot of people respect and some we don't respect. Roger Wicker, the influential chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, stated that the $300 billion made to payment, that don't make sense, under President, the $300 billion deal makes the President Obama's agreement look like a piece of cake. That's what he said. But then we got Ted Cruz attacking it. I think a lot of people respect Ted Cruz. He's attacking it. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy of Louisiana is really one after, said it is the worst foreign policy blunder in decades. So Trump is lashing out, calling them bad people, stupid. That's what he does if he disagrees with you. But, you know, there are those in this crowd that you've got to wonder about, though. It's because when you look at some of the people who are attacking him, when you bring in Mark Levin and Chicken Hawk, where's he at? He's not there. Lindsey Graham, and some of these guys are attacking. You know, I kind of hate to be on the same side they're on. It kind of gets in my grist. So, in any event, so a lot of people on Fox News, a lot of the viewers went after Trump. Now, maybe Trump's got a big master plan. If the 300 million doesn't come to the United States, and if Iran would really behave themselves, I don't see it. Because it's in their religion. It's how they believe. It's what they believe their God commands them to do. It's in their constitution. That's what makes it hard to swallow. Well, Lindsey Graham is piping up now. Yeah, he's been a little bit quiet. Yeah, he's a swamp creature big time. That's why I don't really like being on the same side as him. So it makes me really think, well, maybe Trump is onto something. The likes of Lindsey Graham are attacking him. You know, maybe there's some merit to this thing after all. I got to confess. You know, I'm no fan of Lindsey Graham or even Martin Levin for that matter. Because Martin Levin always takes Israel's side. And we're going to talk about that. No, I guess an article on that's gone. I thought I had an article on that. So I must have inadvertently closed it. Turns out that Netanyahu has a plan to try to turn Trump away or influence his negotiations. And that is to go through none other than Mark Levin. So he's planning to put a lot of pressure and feed a lot of stuff to Mark Levin and have Mark Levin try to put a lot of pressure on Trump. So there you go. There you go. You know, it's a mess right now. It is a mess. There's no ifs and ands and buts about it. But I've said before that we probably were going to deal with it sooner or later anyway, because it was in their religion. They were building up for it. And we have at least diminished their capacity for a few years. How long depends on how much money they get and how fast they can build back. They would really hide anything they're building in the future. You can bet on that. They still have a lot of missiles that are child missile launchers. So, guys, we don't live in a safe world. Not by long shot. Don't let them fool you. Don't let the news fool you. I'm not taking any of it for granted here, because there's a lot that remains to be seen. Now, it's possible that Trump's got a bigger game he's playing. He's done that a lot with a lot of his off and on war, peace deal kind of stuff. He's played some games with that. So he may have a bigger game. And what we'll talk about, remind me, I need to talk about this Abraham LaFord. First, we're going to look at the weather. And wow, guys, the Aleutian Islands has been rocking. Look at that. It's a ton of earthquakes. And we got a 5.8 here in Kamchatka Peninsula. I saw a 6 there earlier. Guess that's expired. Look at all this. 4.4 northeast of Etka. The Aleutian Islands are rocking hard right now. That's a little bit scary. I mean, they are rocking real hard. 3.0. Got one here offshore. Chiniak. And all right here on the Ring of Fire. All of them on the Ring of Fire, too, guys. Yakutat, Alaska, 2.5. We got over here in Indonesia, 5.0. Got something big down here in the 5.7 west of Macquarie, I guess, Island. That's south west of New Zealand. We got a big one on the new Mid-Atlantic Ridge, 5.5. We got some down here east of the South Sandwich Islands, 5.1, 5.1. And the Puerto Ricans are dancing hard. A lot of stuff going on over here in Argentina. Looks like some in Chile. Yeah. And off our Panama, we got this one over here in Livingston, Wheeler, New Mexico. And then a very common area for earthquakes, Juan de Fuca Fault. We Chewy and thinks this may be due to volcano there. We know there's a big volcano that looks like it's set to erupt big time there. Space weather. Somebody thinks they can put out clouds from satellites of gases that can mitigate the effects of a CME. Well, that would make for an interesting experiment, especially with all the stuff we're putting in orbit now. So if they could do that, that'd be interesting. I think it don't take that many of them. But then is this stuff going to come to Earth? Is it going to affect our atmosphere? What could it do to us? A lot of stuff to think about. Now, in the asteroid world, we do have one coming between the Earth and the Moon, halfway between the Earth and the Moon on the 21st, which now it's the 20th, so that's tomorrow. This is a Sunday pass by, but it's really tiny. It's only 6 meters, and it's only moving 4.4 kilometers per second. One of the slower ones, one of the smaller ones. I tend to think it's going to have an orbit that's really close to Earth orbit. It's going to look like it might be a booster. So when I see numbers like that, I like to go to the orbital viewer and see how close to Earth orbit or some orbit that we would put a trajectory in for a satellite launch or something like that. Let's blow this up. And yeah, it's blue. Where's that Earth's orbit? No, it's its orbit. It's, whoa, there it is. Really close to Earth's orbit. Yeah, this is the white line. Earth's orbit would be the blue line. It's showing it's really close to us. It's got a little bit of an inclination. That's what these lines indicate here and here against the plane of the ecliptic. There's Mercury, Venus. I've been seeing a lot of these planets lately, and Jupiter on my sunset views. So this thing is such a close orbit, such a low velocity, and such a small size. I would be willing to put a bet that this is a piece of a rocket. It's a rocket stage. And probably not for launching to Mars, because it's not going out to Mars. This is probably just launching some big satellites in years gone by. That's my guess. I'm saying that's not an asteroid. Although probably has metals and materials that would be of value in space one day. So it's not something to be afraid of. It'll burn up in the atmosphere. Definitely. All right. So let's talk about one other thing tonight here. I'm going to have to put that down to the end of share, not yet. No, where's my end share button? Something's going on here. Maybe I did. Okay. I mean, I also have a small screen when I ended share, it usually pops. Now, on different computers, it does different things. I'm back on this computer, so I got to get reused to it again. So I am going to open the chat over here and see. Oh, I want to see what you guys are saying directly. All right, before I go into that. So there's one other aspect. Maybe I need to cover this in a special video. The Abraham Accords. Now, this is one of Trump's brilliant strokes, is the Abraham Accords. He started in his first administration, and he's trying to get the rest of the Gulf Coast Arab states to sign on to it, like Saudi Arabia. We already know that UAE is cooperating directly with Israel. We're getting weapon systems from Israel. So what Trump is trying to do is broker a really big regional peace deal with all the Gulf Arab states to sign this accord, because he's making the idea that maybe this is why he wants to leave Iran in place in some degree, is because if he can get all these states to cooperate, then that will be a checkmate against Iran. A checkmate against Iran used to be Iraq, but W went in and took out Saddam Hussein. And when he did so, he opened the gate to the Ayatollah regime. So I've said I thought that was one of our biggest military blunders. A lot of people aren't talking about that because a lot of people just don't understand the dimension of that. I think that was a huge blunder. That said, the Ayatollah regime is something that the Gulf states have been attacked by them, just liberally attacked. And now they really know the philosophy, so now they're starting to take it more seriously. That might mean that they would align with Israel to protect themselves against Iran. And UAE has already done it. Oh, yeah, one other piece of news, I had an article up there, I don't have it now, is that Iran now supposedly this deal is to open the Strait of Hormuz, and it's been certified. There's more traffic coming through the strait. Some of all these ships has been hemmed up since the 28th of February, and now starting to get out. Question is, will other ships want to go in there and risk getting bottled in? Maybe not. Part of the deal is supposed to be no tolls on these ships going through. But Iran just come out and told the G7 nations, in particular the UK, that they had to get permission to go through the Strait of Hormuz, as if they still control the Strait of Hormuz. which is not what we want to see happen. That's really a violation of international maritime treaties and traditions from way back. So that's interesting. And that could be a move toward actually them breaking the deal. Or maybe the deal just being no good. Well, what I said in my last video, I said, no deal with these guys is worth the paper it's written on. I still think that's true. So, all right, let me go through and see what you guys are saying. We'll do the egg guess. I'm not going to get up and go get the eggs. Well, but I know what to harvest today, so we'll still guess a little bit at the end here. Blackbird is from Philippines, probably gone already. Carol, KP Heather. Why static, static noise. Why static noise? Okay. No NATO, I agree. Putin is under a lot of pressure, Carol. I mean, he's got his city, the capital city of Russia, has been hit hard. Or he finds everybody knows what's going on. I mean, it's just there. It's in your face. There's no way you cannot hear the boom, boom, and all the smoke and oil raining out of the sky. Not good. 3:25 a.m. Okay, are you on the East Coast there, Kathy? We got Rodney from down under. Now, guys, do hit the web. We got 85 in the room now. That's better, a lot better. Do hit the thumbs up if you're just joining. Sergei Lavrov, the stately foreign minister of Russia, has basically issued an implicit nuclear threat against NATO, and it's thought to be in general response against the fact that Ukraine has launched a savage drone attack on the oil refineries all around Moscow. At least the huge one southeast of Moscow, is causing it to rain black petroleum in Moscow. Huge explosion, burning. It's got apartments too. Some of these apartments have been directly hit by some of these drones. Now, I don't know if that's because they were shot down and hit them or if they targeted them. Don't know. Could be both. I know this could escalate fast. Mark, you're right, it could. That's what we got to worry about. And I'm an advocate for us pulling out of NATO. Few politic. Let's see what's their moment. Dominic. The Green Regs. By the way, if you're interested in doing a live stream with New York Prepper, I can email you his email. Well, I'm actually a mod on this channel. I could probably go in there and contact him directly. Let me think about that, because I'm not. I got the people I definitely do want to interview in the Power Grid Defense Committee. I've just not had time. I work till 4 my time. I work 9 hours a day, starting at 7 my time to 4 my time. And then I basically got to get outside and start working in the garden till dark right now. If I'm once I get my garden planted between 4 and 6, I might, 4 or 5, I might have a window that I can do an interview, start interviewing again. I would like to go back to more interviews. Rodney, you live in Australia. Yeah, he's in Australia, not Alabama. He's definitely in Australia. Battlefield Ghost. I remember when Procter and Gamble were thought to be the Antichrist. Well, maybe not directly, but they may be funding the House of Klaus, which to me is about the same thing. Just found out how large the Philippines. Yeah, Philippines are huge. Just Steve Popper's there. I love Steve's channel. Steve, it's a nation of an archipelago of just thousands and thousands of islands, but some of them are really big. They have a lot of people. There's cities in Philippines. I think there's like 2 cities that are like 20 million each. You got Manila. You got Cebu. Cebu is a huge city. I like to go to the Philippines because they're very friendly to Americans in the Philippines. I love to go there. Beautiful country, friendly to Americans. What has Europe ever done for us? Pulled us into two world wars and the Cold War. That's what. Got my granddad injured for life, crippled, World War One. My dad was in World War Two, barely escaped with his life on a number of occasions. Mark, I kind of think you're right because they've let all the invaders in. And see, the New World Order crowd wants to dismantle nations. They want to set up a global gulag. So to them, the way to do it is to destroy the identity of a country, who you are, by bringing so many people that's not who you are anymore. Like I said, in the United States, they want to get a lot of people in here who aren't beholden to the dream of the founding fathers. Now, if immigrants come over and they come over to work and be good people, and if they subscribe to what America was established for, hey, that's a good thing. But if they're coming over to trade drugs and bring our nation down, not so much. We used to, after World War II and before World War II, actually, we had a lot of people coming to this country that loved it. People coming over now, not so much. Although I will say some of the Mexicans are good, hardworking people. They will be voting once they get over all this stuff they're dealing with. A lot of them do vote Republican. Because a lot of them are family oriented, but the ones that are drug gang cartel members, forget about it. Captain Trips, how you doing? Yeah, we don't do hate speech on my channel. The mods will take you out if you do that. Oh, I got some coffee, guys. I'm gonna put it over here. Got a cup on the top of it so the flies won't get in it. Yeah, cool. It's good coffee though. I buy my coffee from the outfit with Switch with Greg. Coffee and snacks and different things. My soaps, detergents, all that. Philippines are ginormous. Hey, we got Jason neighbors in the house. Jason, hey, I got that tree and I put it in the ground. What kind of tree is that? Good to see you, Jason. He sent me a little tree. The leaves on it are looking kind of desiccated. I hope it survives, Jason. It looks like the leaves we're green, but they're looking mighty dry. So I'll find a picture of it. He sent me a tree and I put it in the ground out here. Let's see here. Hang on, guys. Ding, 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 ding. Where's my pictures? Oh, yeah. Oh, good neonies. Oh, where's it at? No, I took a picture of it. That's many pictures in there. That's not it. Come on, where's it at? Oh, I don't want to waste too much time looking for it. You're all get bored with this. But he did. He sent me a tree. I got it in. Well, there's a picture of it far off. I know I got to. Oh, there it is. If y'all can see it, and if I turn it sideways, it'll be better visible. Let's see how it looks on the camera right here. I said, leaves are still green, but they're looking kind of desiccated. I put this in one of my looms. So there we are. Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting sleepy, guys. Set up professional audio and audio settings. How are we sounding tonight? It's a jujube tree. Fingers crossed that it makes. Now, what is a jujube tree, Jason? I don't even know what that is, but I went and planted it. I know you sent me a message earlier about it, and I was looking for that message and I couldn't find it. Jujube tree. Well, whatever the case is, she is a planted. Come on here and go type into Google. So what? Oh, they make fruits. The jujube tree. It's like little cherry kind of looking fruits. All right, guys, let me share a screen. I'll show you what these look like. Yeah, it does make it. That looks interesting. Now, do you eat these or you make coffee out of them? Well, Jason, what I do with these? Those are dried up. Now, these are plump. They're kind of like a coffee bean. Kind of like a cross between a coffee bean and a cherry. Is this the one that some people say tastes like Kool-Aid or fruit, some kind of fruit juice? I don't know. Stop the share. That's interesting. Hey, that sounds kind of exciting. I'm kind of interested. Yeah, and Google can put in front of your eyeballs quicker than I can type. Okay, I'll have to look for it. Once they dry up, they taste like dates. Ooh, fresh. It tastes like I love dates. Oh my gosh, I love dates. That's awesome. I hope the thing survives. I hope it survives. That is really an awesome thing. So, oh, looks like one of our mods is taking somebody out here. A lot of comments. Let's see. Battlefield goes. How many Christian settlements have been destroyed by Israel lately? Good question. They don't care for Christians either. Yeah, we do know there were Christian Palestinians, but that's not what Hamas is made out of. I guarantee you that. Message options are low here. All right, Max Levitt. We don't talk about potty stuff here. You too could be a zillionaire. Lordy. I'm still voting Republican, even if it were in war by midterms. War is nothing new. Yeah, well, I said we was going to talk about the vote here in a little bit. Spoilers. So we got some debate in the House here. – Suppose one could compare civilian targets struck by Ukraine and Russia. Yeah, well, they both hit civilians, no doubt about it. And you can't really have a war where you're attacking stuff in cities and not have some civilians in it. Just don't happen. Don't happen. We're going to talk about this upcoming election, guys. Wow. Rarely find the fruit. That sounds awesome, Jason. That sounds awesome. I don't know if this tree don't make it, I might be wanting a replacement. Tastes like dates. I love dates. That's one of my favorite things. I got to tell you one thing. The Arabs have some good food. Have you ever ate a shawarma? Kibbeh, tabbouleh salad. But what I really like is, Lebanese in particular make some killer dishes. Killer dishes. I dated a girl whose dad was Lebanese, and she introduced me to Arabic food. I never ate lamb until I dated her. This is years ago. And wow, I love all the Middle Eastern food. So much of it's beyond belief. If Lavrov is saying this, then we're getting close. That's what I'm worried about, anonymous mouse person. He has always been the calm, cool cucumber. It's always been Medvedev going, better watch it, we'll get you. It's always Medvedev, the barking dog. Whereas Lavrov's always been the scholarly, diplomatic, cool cucumber. So that's what I'm worried about now. That means that the pain threshold is getting real high in Russia. The bear is in the corner. It's getting poked real hard. So we got to watch it. Street food and run around is pretty good. Okay. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Greg, did you ever work with Dr. Travis Taylor? I knew him. I didn't work with him, but I knew him. He got me on a show one time. It was called An Aliens Attack. And he asked me, Greg, how can we use balloons to defend against an alien attack? And I was thinking the conventional ways. I'm thinking, well, if you lose your communications, it can be a substitute satellite. Can substitute for satellites and give you a communications gap filler. You can use them to launch rockets, like I used to do. You can use them for detection, for defense. You can use them. You can put a mirror on them and shoot a huge laser from above, and let that laser be reflected by the mirror to target something. And the value of that is that lasers lose strength shooting through a lot of atmosphere and cross range. They're just unaffected. But if you got a real powerful and you shoot it straight up at a balloon and it's above most of the atmosphere, then that balloon could redirect the laser. Like, at 100,000 feet, you're above 99% of the atmosphere. You only got 1% atmospheric density. And so it's almost like being in space, a vacuum. And that's about as high as a balloon can go. But you could have a mirror up there and direct it, and you can put a lot of energy on something. So I'm thinking in these terms. Well, so we went there, we did a balloon launch, and even President Obama was in this. They roped him in to talk about this stuff, and several Defense Department scientists. And then Travis Taylor comes in here and starts, the way to deal with them is like ants dropping on a grasshopper. You see, just get all over it. And so that's how to deal with these aliens. So we'll just get a bunch of people in party balloons and have them fly up to the UFO and jump on it. I'm going, oh my God. I was scheduled to speak next. I turned around and walked off the set. It's like, I am not going to be speaking in this stupid show. It's like, no, I am not going to be part of this one. So you got a bunch of guys going up, like the guy that rode the lawn chair balloon kind of situation. You got a bunch of guys going, and you sit up here on your phone, you see the guys coming. All you got to do is move aside. They're still going to go straight up or follow the wind. They're either going to ascend or follow the wind. You just move aside, and they'll just pass you. You know, you're not going to be jumping on some ship, especially high tech something with technology beyond our comprehension. But they wanted to have a little fun. You know, they could throw out a bucket of sand and bust all the balloons, or throw darts, or they really want to have fun. They could, you know, have like an M2 machine gun. You know, it would be so, you know, throw out knives, throw out garbage. It'd be so easy to defeat a bunch of guys trying to float up in party balloons. It's like, you got to be kidding me. No, no, not that. And that's what the program went with. This was on National Geographic, and that's how that was their solution to the alien invasion. I'm a balloon guy. And I loved this whole thing when the guy, you know, got himself strapped in a lawn chair with balloons. I thought that was hilarious. And a lot of other people kind of played around with that since. But that is not a way to defend yourself or anyone else. That just blew my mind. My head exploded when I didn't get to stop that stuff. I'm getting out of here. I did not want I actually am in the video because I was involved in the balloon launch. It was in that Geo video. Now, he has spoken to my group, Hal 5, a few times. And he actually called me one day. He got great news. He said, I want you to build me a rocket and I want it to hit space. He said, and I got $5,000 to give you and I want it in like 3 weeks. It's like, no, and I know. You know, my last venture with my Cat's Prize rocket, you know, cost me about $150,000. I had a big team of guys and we worked on it for about a year. So ain't no way you're going to come out and even though we had the best team with amateur rocket launches, there's, you know, our first one was launched from the shore of North Carolina. That was real problematic. We did that one for about $22,000, but it still took about a year to do it. But we had a lot of donations. A lot of people volunteered for that project. There's no way you're going to give me $5,000 and expect to hit space in a matter of a few weeks. Nope. I ain't gonna be part of that. He got mad at me after that, or maybe he got mad at me for criticizing the movie when aliens attack. But yeah, I knew him. Didn't work with him, but I knew him. In Huntsville, wouldn't that be with him? So Greg's dating cuisine is quite extensive. Well, yeah, I have sampled, you know, different, how do you say this? And not be crude. I tried a lot of different things. Let's just put it that way. I'm not being prejudiced in my dating approach. Let's just put it that way. 5K for a rocket is mighty thin budget. You know, yeah, now my guys did the thinnest budgets of anybody. Well, he came up with some lawn dart rocket and darn near got himself killed and some other people. He also had a submarine that he's lucky that it didn't drown this little submarine. Yeah, he did that Rocket City Redneck show before he did his show with Skinwalker Ranch. Now, he did get a radiation burn, just something in the sky. He got really sick. His urine turned black. He got a severe radiation burn out there. There's something to what's going on out there. And he is a scientist, but he can come up with some wacky ideas. 5K for a rocket to hit space. Yeah, that is Ain't nobody done that. I've done better than anybody from the amateur and small rocket crowd. And nobody has come close to what I did 26 years ago to this date. Not what we did and the kind of prices we did. No, nobody's come close. But still, you know, he is trying to go way cheaper than that. I mean, you could make something that can go up there, but without much for avionics. You know, actually, avionics is a big part, especially our Cat's Prize rocket. It was more avionics than not, because we had to confirm and be able to verify what we were doing. Turned out to be an avionics project on the rocket, really. But it was interesting. I've had some interesting experiences. No doubt about that. Sheet metal screws instead of aviation parts. Yeah, probably fly apart. Now, we were toying around with an idea of a small little raccoon that had a 4-stage solid rocket motor to be launched from a balloon. And we thought we could probably hit space with that, did a lot cheaper. We were toying around with that idea. My main guy with that is dead now, unfortunately. Steve Mistakis. And we did a submarine raccoon launch. Yeah. We did the world's first submarine raccoon launch. Where we launched from under the water. Yeah, we just for the heck of it, after we did our Casablanca rocket, we inflated a balloon about yay big. We put a little solid rocket motor on it, or a solid rocket on it, and we turned it loose from the ship. And that thing was a little bit heavy. The rocket was. We didn't weigh it out and try to balance it out. This thing was a little too heavy, and it actually dipped down in the water when we had one of those waterproof fuses, and it still lit and launched. So we did the world's first submarine raccoon launch. Duct tape in some places. There you go. When I was a kid, I had some great idea. I was going to get me a bunch of tin and make a structure. I was going to fill it, when I was a kid, fill it full of spray can bottles and light them and set it off. And I thought I was going to be able to launch this rocket from Sand Mountain to Gunnersville Lake. Yeah, that was my goal. I even thought about putting a capsule on it, trying to ride it. Yeah, that thing would have been a spectacular dud. But, I was a little kid, we used to burn our garbage all the time. I used to like to stick a spray can nozzle in it, watch it blow the whole garbage bag up. Scatter stuff. I did crazy stuff as a kid, So I was going to talk about something. Oh, yeah, the election. We are late. I got to hit the hay. The election, guys, midterms. And I need to do a special video on this, probably over on my Silverhead News channel. I know we've been on here. 96 minutes. I don't need to be in this a lot longer. Guys, here's the deal. Whatever you think about Trump, you got to consider what we might be letting in the door for the Democrat Party. If people don't vote in the midterms, and if the Democrats take over the House and Senate, now, whatever you think about Trump at this point is immaterial. Yeah, they would impeach him and remove him if they get both the House and Senate. You can bet on that. Even if they are tied with the Republicans, some Republicans would vote with them. They would remove Trump from office. And that may not sound like a bad idea to some of you guys, but they'd remove Vance. What would happen is the Speaker of the House is third in line. He would become President of the United States if they remove them both at the same time. That'd be what they're trying to do. We know that, what's his name? Campaign advisor for Clinton from Louisiana. Shoot, guys, help me out. What is his name? Carville, James Carville. He has said what the Democrats' plan is to try to make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico a state, so they would take over the Senate, pack the Supreme Court with a whole bunch of liberals, just throw a bunch more people on there so they could change all the rulings, like our right to bear arms and things like that have been. We've had a lot of good rulings lately. They want to turn all that around, throw the borders wide open, and we would look like Europe. We would look like Paris and London. We would lose who we are as a nation. And fentanyl would be everywhere. Drug gangs, they don't care. They really don't. This is why whatever you think, you can hate Trump, don't matter. We can't let these people do that to us. We would lose our nation, literally. That's why I say get out and vote and talk to people and get them to get out and vote. We would be in a civil war. Yes, that would definitely happen. A civil war is the ugliest thing you can imagine. And this would precipitate a civil war because those people be coming for your rights and they want to They've already said they want to come for the people that supported Trump directly, not just Trump, not just the politicians, but the people that voted for him, people that donated to him. If you're flying an American flag, they're not even going to like you. So, guys, this is serious. This is why you really got to vote. Clinton remained in office after he was impeached. Yeah, because he wasn't acquitted by the Senate. Impeachment attack comes from the House. To actually remove you, the Senate has to acquit you. The Senate never acquitted Clinton. We've never had the Senate acquit any. Is that the right word? I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. We've never had the Senate agree with impeachment, the actual commit the removal. There have been, a couple of presidents impeached but not removed, including Trump. But if you have both the House and the Senate, you can do it. Greg Allison for president. I've heard that a few times in there. Guys, I don't think I want to live in Washington, D.C. I definitely wouldn't want the job. If I thought I could get there, yeah, I know what I'd do if I was president. I'd turn a lot of stuff around. And I've run the halls of Congress. I have caused major changes in space policy and things like that. Property rights policy. I've played a role in keeping the United States from signing the Law of the Sea Treaty. I've had some big impact just being a space activist. But, whew, man, that's a dog-eat-dog world. I'm not sure I want to eat dog. I'd rather find somebody else and put them up to that job. Hey, you go over there. You take this job. I don't want it. I mean, if I really thought I could get elected and make a difference, they're going to attack you up one side and down the other. Don't matter, especially, I'm not a liberal. The liberals would try to eviscerate me because the same reason they're after Trump, in part, is he's not comporting with their New World Order. He's not comporting with the WEF. He's pulled us out of a bunch of the UN organizations. That part is good. Whatever else you think about it, that part is good. I would do more in that regard. I would be more steadfast about getting us out of NATO. Yeah, I would make some changes if I were there, big time. But it's crazy. I don't think anybody that wants a job should get it, though. I mean, that's an endorsement for myself. I really don't. If you want the job, you shouldn't have it. You got to be a little bit mental to want to be president of the United States, in my humble opinion. The system protects them, and they have no ideas. That's true. Senate has to indict. Yeah, that's the word, not quit. Indict. Thank you. I knew I got my terminology off. And criminally convict after impeachment. That would probably help. Then they remove a POTUS. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. It's late, and I knew I was threw the wrong word out there. I said, oops, I messed up. It's not that. Ever notice when you leave DC, you immediately go uphill? Well, hey, Drops, how you doing? You get 10 IQ points smarter as soon as you leave the Beltway. When you go inside the Beltway, your IQ automatically detriments 10 points. And you come out, it goes back up. Well, some people come back up. I think some of the people been there so long, it's permanently mashed down. Been in DC too long. Great men do not seek power, but it is thrust upon them. Well, that is true, Battlefield. So we got to find a good sucker to stick in. Token's use of the One Ring as a metaphor was spot on. That really is it. If you think of the ring as really being power, that's really it. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And there's an allegory. There's another saying that goes with that, which is probably more accurate. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. Hey, we got a super chat. Carol, thank you very much. I'm most appreciative to you tonight. All right, I've been here a long time, and we need to go. I got to hop in bed. My rooster's going to be crowing in 2 hours. So it's going to take me about an hour just doing a process and then get in bed. So I get about an hour before the rooster starts crowing. And then the daylight's going to be springing in. So I'm not going to run over the other side of the house and grab my eggs tonight. I know how many I got today. So, how many eggs I harvest today from my chickens? We can still guess. I don't think buddy Ed over on his channel actually shows the eggs. I've been doing it, but I don't think he ever does. Over on getting rain a lot tonight. Ed, why is he's from New York, moved to West Virginia? Help me out, guys. All right, we got a guess, one guess. That's what I got yesterday. I got 6 eggs yesterday. How many eggs I get today? How many eggs I get today? Keep guessing. Rooster's already crowing. Yeah, I'm 13. Wow, I wish. That'd be amazing. Nope. I have 11 hens and they don't lay every day. I got to get a shade cloth to put over their chicken run and put some vent holes in their little coop. It's warmer. Should it be more? Yeah, I think they're too hot fun time. Like I said, I got to put some shade cloth and vent their coop. I think they're too hot. Especially, we're about to get some hot weather in a few days. I need to go get some shade cloth tomorrow. That's what I need to do. All right, nobody got the number yet. How many eggs I get today? Nobody guessed it yet. Come on, guys. Thank you, Carol, for the super chat. All right, how many eggs I get today? Come on, folks. How many eggs today? 7? Nope. It's been a while since I've had 7. Oh, what's going on? The chat room goes for. All right, Drops, you got it. Drops got it. 4. How you been, Drops? Haven't seen you in a while. Drops got it. 4 eggs. Just have me got it. 4 eggs. All right, stop guessing now so I can ask the next question. This computer ain't scrolling and ain't doing nothing right. Come on, what's wrong with this thing? Shoot. All right. Yeah, just 4. Just got 4 eggs today. Sure enough. I think my hens are too hot. 4 eggs, all I got. So how many of those were Easter eggs? I did get 6 yesterday. How many of those are Easter eggs? All right, guys. The guessing starts after the comment by Jason, Green Country Agri Force. All right, Chew Weather got it. 2. 2 of them were Easter eggs. I had 3 Easter eggs yesterday, but it was 2. All right. So, all right. Now we got 2 super chats tonight. Let me check my phone here to see if anybody 0. No, we got 2. Chew Weather got that one. So Drops and Chew Weather, you are the guessers tonight. And let me see. Sometimes I get a donation through my website, greengregs.com. Donate button there. So if I do, I want to give credit. I'll check my email. That's how I find out real fast. Wrong email. Not tonight. All right. Well, we got 2 super chats tonight. I appreciate it. I got 2 duck eggs every day. That sounds good. I love duck eggs. Duck eggs are great. I love duck eggs. I bought a 12-pack of those one day. They're great. Maybe one day I'll get some ducks. I hope so. Yeah, 50-50. Most of my hens are not Easter eggers, so when they're laying so many, they outperform the others. Let's just put it that way. The Easter eggers carry their weight. All righty, guys. I got a leghorn that hasn't ever laid a single egg. I'm gonna have to name her Stew Pot. And some veggies. A man can get by on 2 duck eggs a day. Yeah. I believe that. I maybe you can get by on 2 chicken eggs if you got something else to go with it. At least for protein, 2 or 3. All right, so Jason and I'm doing a Three Sisters planting big time out here. We've talked about that, and that's what I'm doing. Most of my stuff is Three Sisters. So I want to stew pot. Yeah, I think that's what made that chicken's name, stew pot. Or dumplings. I might name another one dumplings, stew pot and dumplings. Anyway, yeah, you got to have a little sense of humor on the farm. So I want to thank you, mods. You've been busy tonight, I see. I want to thank everybody for coming in here watching. And I especially want to thank my super chatters. We've had Mindalik or Mindalik and Carol, both the super chatters tonight. So I really appreciate that. Salute to you. And to one and all, a good night, good day, wherever you are. With some of you guys, it's already daytime. And with that, I say ho, ho, ho. And